until the robot's right here. Who's each mind and the leader go down.
Alright, let's just get this over with. So, hello everyone. My name's the Catholtist. I am starting up this, what is hopefully going to not be a particularly long series, but this series of videos of Enter the Gungeon, where I attempt to finish one full run as the robot. I've finished everyone else's past so far. This is the only one that's given me this much difficulty. So far I've made it to the Dragon probably like 5 times or so, and each time I've died in some stupid way, usually right around the 25% mark on his health bar. Sorry. So, I was kind of starting to lose interest in even trying. I went and did some other challenges and stuff around the Gungeon. Tried doing a bunch of just different types of runs as the other characters. And now I'm coming back to the robot to hopefully find the motivation that I need to just finish this. Because, quite frankly, I really don't feel like doing anything else in Gungeon until I finish all the pests. And since he's the last one left, and easily my least favorite character to play as, I figure we'll just keep going with this until, well, basically until I finish it. The idea here is that I'm just going to make one of these videos every day or two until this pass is done. Whatever it takes to get through it, I'm just gonna keep going, not do anything else in here, no other challenge runs, no attempts with other characters, nothing like that. Just constantly play the robot until there's nothing left to do with him. So, now that we've got that preamble out of the way, for those who don't know, this game is called Enter the Gungeon. It's this really fun twin-stick shooter, kind of bullet helly type thing. Absolutely fantastic world that they set up, where everything in this dungeon that you're running through is made up of bullets, guns, some type of weaponry. You're basically hunting through the Gungeon in search of a gun that can kill the past. Each of the characters has some big regret in their past that they want to undo, and in order to do that, they basically find the gun, get a bullet that can kill the past, and shoot themselves in the face with it. At which point they're teleported back to the moment of whatever the event is that they want to undo, and you play through that with just the most basic items possible. Typically you just get whatever your starting weapon is. For the robot here, it is the robot's right hand. Oh, and all the items and stuff in this have great little entries that give you a little bit of the lore and backstory of the Gungeon, the characters, and sort of just everything else about the world as it's set up. And the entire game is just filled with these fantastic little nods to other games and movies and books and stuff like that. All sorts of things that I already had a huge interest in before the game was out. And then just seeing it all wrapped up into... I don't know why I let that hit me. I could have easily got out of the way of that. But just seeing it all wrapped up into a game that's just generally really fun to play, too. It made for the perfect combination. And I started playing this right off, coming off a really long kick of playing Binding of Isaac, which, the more I've talked to people about this game, seems to be what happened to just about everyone that now religiously plays Gungeon instead. Oh, that's a real good way to start. Yeah, so Binding of Isaac and Nuclear Throne were the two games I was playing right before this, and I came into Gungeon finding that it was the perfect combination of the two. It's just... it feels fantastic to play. It has all the depth that Isaac has, all the fun little secrets that you can go hunting for, the different characters to unlock, stuff like that. But you never really feel as powerless as you do at certain points of Binding of Isaac. And you never feel like you're at as big a disadvantage as you do in Nuclear Throne. There's always something you can do. You'll never run out of ammo. You'll never fully run out of ammo. You'll never find yourself being faced with enemies that are just too powerful for you to do anything against. You always have some kind of option. And it actually goes back to one of the things I loved about Dark Souls and Bloodborne and the whole Souls series, where you can spend a lot of time just kind of analyzing how the enemies attack, what their actual attack patterns are, kind of turn it into more of a puzzle game than an actual action game, where you're figuring out how the different pieces fit together and what you have to do against each one. And it makes it this really, really fun, just combination of genres, even if it's not technically that. It was one of the things that really attracted me to the Souls series to begin with. Oh, and also, sorry about that weird clicking sound you might be hearing. I just got a new Pro Controller, and immediately upon taking it out of the box, the left stick is already doing some weird things, including making that horrible squeaking, clicking noise anytime I move it diagonally down and left, or down and right. So yeah, that's going to be going on for a while. What just happened there where I got 2 items at the end? Again, this is just for anyone who might not be familiar with the game. If you finish a boss without taking any damage, you get what's called a master round from them. On a normal character, it would add an additional heart slot. Since the robot doesn't actually have hearts, and you're stuck with just armor and nothing else for your entire run, you get 1 piece of armor from getting it, and that's about it. Oh yeah, so I guess I should probably explain why it is that I hate the robot so much, and it's pretty much that, just that you don't get heart containers. You start out with 6 armor to run through the entire game with. Now, you can find armor all over the place, as pickups, as things that you can buy in the shop. Certain items grant you extra armor, but it's never actually as plentiful as hearts are, which you'll notice I have to just ignore any heart drops that I end up getting this run, since they're totally useless to me on this character. So if I do start just ignoring items that are on the ground or in chests, and it really starts bugging some of you from like a OCD perspective, I'm sorry for that, but that's just the way these kind of runs go. And that could have easily been avoided. Okay, let maiden up top, chain gunner down here. Not one of my favorite combinations to go up against this early on, but, you know, just kind of do what you can with it. So, the other special things about the robot. You start out with electrified bullets. I think they're called battery bullets, which anytime they cross over water of any sort, they electrify it and do constant damage to anything standing in it. Okay, so this is a mini-boss. They can just pop up anytime during your run. They don't have nearly as much health as a real boss would, but they're still annoying to come up against in the middle of what would otherwise be a good run. And so Blockner there is a character that you run into early on. The guy that gives you the tutorial at the very beginning was actually friends with him until Blocknir betrayed him and killed him. So you basically go out, get revenge for the tutorial guy, and now that you've killed Blocknir once, he continuously shows up as a ghost who can just turn up on any run that you take at the Gungeon. And he's kind of annoying. But we're just going to keep going and pretend that that room didn't happen. So let's see, what we're talking about. Right, electric bullets. So, the other thing the robot starts with is an active item called coolant leak, which I actually got rid of early on in favor of, what is this? I think airstrike? Yeah, airstrike. So, with coolant leak, you would be able to just make puddles of water on the ground anytime you wanted to, and then electrify them with the bullets. It's useful when you're up against grounded enemies, like the ones that we just fought in this room, or even Blocknir. It would have been nice to have it for. However, I've found that a lot of my runs devolve into me fighting a bunch of flying enemies, where that just doesn't affect them at all. So I got rid of it and figured this would be a better way to go, but we'll see if that's actually the way it works out. Oh, I really want the Patriot. So that is the boss's gun from Snake Eater. I absolutely love it in this game, but I really like flak bullets a lot more. So with flak bullets, anything that you shoot breaks into smaller bullets that do a decent amount of damage, honestly, if they come into contact with anything else. And with certain guns, it becomes incredibly broken, especially with some of the melee weapons, like one I'm really hoping to get now. There's a bat called Casey in here that you can get, which bounces back enemy projectiles and just deals a ton of damage on contact with anything that you hit with it. And if you have flak bullets, it actually creates little projectiles out of it, which are... Wait, why am I on the map? I don't need to do that. So that's a secret room. You can... Wow, okay. Yep, that was real bad. You can find those by shooting walls until they crack. If there's a secret room behind them, they'll get these cracks in them that you can just track down the secret rooms with. Since I had the map, it actually showed it right there, so I don't know why I was testing out the walls when I could very clearly see there was a secret room there the whole time. But again, we'll just pretend that didn't happen. Okay. So the chests come in various rarities. Brown is about as bad as they get, but brown chests can have an item and another thing in them, usually money or, if I'm lucky, armor. Blue chests usually have active items or equipment, like just things that boost your character in some way. Green chests have rarer items and tend to be guns, which is typically why I save the keys for the green chests. Got Earthworm Jim's gun here, which I absolutely love. Never have to reload, just constantly shoot with it. And yeah, it's just an all-around nice gun to have for boss fights or clearing rooms. Which is probably what we're going to use it for here in a minute. For the first two floors, I try to only use the basic starter gun if I can help it, just to kind of conserve ammo for the later floors. So since the starter gun never runs out of ammo and usually deals decent damage for at least the first 2 floors, there's not really much sense in wasting ammo on better guns that you could be using on other things later on. Just check this, make sure it's not Mimic. Nope, okay. He didn't have another key to sell, did he? No. Alright, we'll just have to hope that the boss drops one. So let's see here. We want the remote-controlled rocket and the blaster. Alright, so this is one of the most iconic enemies, or bosses in the game. The holster, I just fell into a hole, didn't I? Looking at the holster for too long there, not paying attention to where I was going. So this is the Beholster. He is kind of the mascot for the game, honestly. And he's got a really basic attack pattern, usually pretty easy to fight as long as you don't go falling into holes while you're not paying attention. The one annoying thing he does do is spawn those little Beholsters that also fire while you're trying to dodge his stuff. And that is one of the most annoying things that a boss in this game can do, and the final boss does it all the time, and I just got an item that I absolutely love and will not be dropping for any reason. Yeah, the final normal boss of the game, let's call it, has some interesting attack patterns, but he'll also spawn enemies that attack in between his bullets to kind of fill in the spaces that are left where you would normally dodge through. So typically anytime you fight a boss like that in here, you're going to want to kill the smaller enemy first, just to kind of clear some of the space. So that active item I picked up, the Elder Blank, is an item that you can continuously use to just destroy all the bullets that are on the screen at once. Normally, for each floor, you get 2 blanks, which are the little blue cartridges underneath my armor up there. They're one-use items that you can either find in shops or they drop. Like I said, you start out each floor with 2 of them, but there are other ways to get them. But the nice thing about the Elder Blank is it's not used up when you use it. You just keep recharging it and using it to knock back enemies like that, but also destroy the bullets that they're shooting. Really useful for some of the boss fights in here. And it combines well with some of the little companions that you can get, which so far the only one I have right now is the... what's this? Baby Mimic, it looks like. Ooh, he's fun to have. He'll shoot at enemies, and wow, this is going really bad. Not having as much trouble with the enemies this time around, just with holes. Actually, the exact opposite of how it goes in here. But anyway, this is the whole reason that I'm making these videos, is to kind of force myself to get rid of some of these bad habits that I have with this. Yeah, we'll go with that. So anyway, that's about where we are. I think if I remember this right, I think if I remember this right, the companion I have right now, the Baby Mimic, if I get another companion, he will become a copy of whatever one that is. So ideally, what I'm looking for, the blank companion ring. It would make a little anthropomorphized blank that follows me around, and anytime I activate the Elder Blank, he will also activate a blank for free. And if I have him and the Baby Mimic, that should be another set of blanks going off after his, which would be real nice. But there's no guarantee of getting that, so we'll just keep going and see what shows up. Oh, okay, I love this gun. This is Blockner's gun that we just beat him on that last floor. And this is the one good thing about him being in the game, is he has this really cool gun that... Nice rate of fire and everything, but that's not why I love it so much. When you reload, it makes a stationary shield that you can hide behind. It is fantastic for boss fights, clearing rooms, just generally staying away from getting hit, which is exactly what I need right now. Yep. See, it lasts for a little while until it gets broken. Taking too much damage. This controller is a little harder to use than the Joy-Cons. I should mention I am playing this on the Switch, just because that's where I have the most stuff unlocked. I got this game for the PC right when it came out, but for some reason, I don't know, when I started playing it on PC, I just really didn't like it that much. I was still very much into Binding of Isaac instead, and I don't know, something about it, I just didn't like the differences between the two. Except that now it's come completely full circle, in which I would definitely rather be playing this than Binding of Isaac. Hey, there we go. Very dead. Excellent. Alright, so that is the end of episode 1. And let me see. I think that's probably how we're going to do this from now on, is just set them up as 1 life per episode, see how it goes from there, that sort of thing. So yeah, that's about it for today. Have a good one. I will see you guys whenever the next video comes out.